They want you to divorce with your husband. They want you to be miserable here in America. Some of the Filipina here are like jealous of you. Like they don't want you to be successful in life. So that's why they're having always these negative things to talk about.
Making you feel very negative towards me, and that you would come home and that you would be in a bad mood.
I'm cold to Darryl.
Welcome in to another episode of Foreigner Loves
Filipina!
Look at you, babe, look at you glow.
Hello!
Look at you glowing there, babe. Oh, that face cream really doing the trick.
Stop. Yeah, $42. That's worth it.
All right, why don't you give us our welcome.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, everybody.
It's
Welcome.
cold morning, actually.
It's not bad. I
No,
went
it's
out there. It's not bad. I mean, it's cold to you, but
It's winter.
I was actually thinking we might go for a walk.
No.
When we get done with this, maybe we'll go for a walk.
No.
So, not yesterday, but 2 nights ago, Melanie instructed me that I needed to leave the house, that I was not allowed to be at the house, because she was having a sleepover with some of her girlfriends.
I did not. No, I did not. He's allowed to actually join with us, but then I'm not gonna pressure him. If he don't wanna be, joining with us, then
She
that's
didn't
fine,
want
I
me
guess.
there. I mean, I wasn't kicked out, but you didn't want me here, nor did I want to be here, frankly. for your girl time.
Thanks God he's not here because I'm acting crazy.
Yeah, one of her friends that's been in some of our other videos, Nika, she posts a lot on Facebook. So whenever they get together, I can always kind of see what's going on because Nika's constantly posting. So I went to play poker for the evening. I didn't get home till late, like 2:30 in the morning, and let them just have their girls' night, and they had a sleepover, Can you imagine a bunch of guys doing a slumber party when they're grown adults? but grown adult girls, it's like they were in high school or middle school. They do the same thing. It's a big sleepover.
Yeah.
And how many girls did you have? 5?
5, and then with Ava, so 6.
Yeah. It did kind of remind me of the importance of your Filipina, finding a group of other Filipinas when she gets to America, and how vital that was for Melanie. For Melanie to really feel at home here, well, that's probably not the right phrasing, but just to feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
Because before she met this group of girls, the same group, I mean, there's been some people added on, but Nika and Shai, which were the 2 girls in our one video, are her best friends. Once she found them, Melanie's whole contentment really was elevated and was very obvious that she was much more happy here. Now, we got a little bit lucky with how we found this friend group, in that there were 2 different ways we got a little bit lucky. One was I had met a Filipina when I was out at a restaurant bar one night, and the woman I saw, and I was like, oh, I think she's Filipina. I started a conversation up with her, and her name was Sandra. The ironic thing is she's actually a family member of an ex-Filipina I dated here in the Philippines. I didn't recognize her as a family member, but I just was like, oh, she looks Filipina. Well, I introduced the 2 of them, and they started chatting online months before Melanie even got here, because that was during COVID when we were long distance for 3 years. And so before she even got here, she knew Sandra. But Sandra is an older woman, so not someone that's really part of our friend group now, but she was vital in helping make that transition. And then the other way we got lucky was that my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, knew a Filipina, Joy. What's her name?
Joyce.
Joyce, yeah, Joyce. And she introduced Joyce to her. And why don't you tell a little bit about Joyce? She's a Mary Kay lady, and then how she kind of introduced you into invited you to a birthday party, and that's kind of where you ended up meeting. Why don't you share more about that?
So like my sister-in-law Dana, we kind of talked. I don't know how we talked about it. Oh, I know. I remember we went to this like a donation thing. Like we kind of held
Meals on Wheels.
yeah, Meals on Wheels, something like that. So we kind of talked like, and then she told me that, you know what, Melanie, I have a friend, Filipina, and she sells Meriki product. And I said, she said, do you wanna meet her? And I said, yeah, of course, because I get so excited every time I hear Filipina that lives here in Lynchburg. I just got so excited about it. Like, yeah, why not? And then, so we went to this Mary Kay event, like, makeup session. So I went there, and then Ate Joyce told me, oh, so you're new here. How about, like, I'm going to invite you to a party. My friend having a birthday party. I'm going to invite you so you can meet, some other friends here in Lynchburg. So I went to the birthday party with Darryl. So I met them, and that's how I met my best friend now, Miss Shirey. And yeah, from that time, I got started meeting a bunch of Filipino here in Lynchburg. So
Yeah, well, and it was funny because she walked in. We walk into this house that was an American Filipina couple that were hosting the party, and we walk in, and I don't know how many different couples, but there was probably at least 10, 15 Filipinas in there.
Yeah, with foreigners.
Yeah,
with,
they're all
with Americans.
Yeah, they're all. I think there was one Filipino couple, but everything else was
American.
of Americans and a American male and a Filipina. But I thought it was really something that. So we walk in, she's meeting all these new Filipinas, and she instantly gravitated towards Shy. I remember we walked to the basement. She just sat down right next to Shy, and they became best friends instantly. How she knew that Shy was the one of those 10 or 15 Filipinas that I don't know, but you too.
I'm not actually my focus is not actually with Shy. I have also I'm focused with with everybody, but I don't know how I sit there and kind of talk to her the whole entire time, and then I always keep telling her that, hey, you know what, let's go grab some food and let's sit together, sit next to each other, and we kind of talked about our life. And yeah, that's how it started. And then that time, she's not living here in Lynchburg yet, locally, she's not living here yet.
She lived about an hour away.
An hour away. And so she keeps telling me that, hey, my husband really wants to find a place here in Lynchburg, maybe an apartment. And luckily, her apartment was really 3 minutes or 5 minutes
really
away from my house. So that's, I think, how it started that we became best friends, because yeah, she is a good friend.
Well, and the other thing that kind of came out of that meeting, and the other reason it's a little surprising that the two of them were the two that really hit it off, is because they don't, obviously they speak Tagalog, but they don't speak the same local language. But there was another girl there that spoke Visayan, and I think she was the only other girl that spoke Visayan, right?
No, there's still some of them.
There were some others?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, she met another person there that was kind of a real negative Nelly, had a lot of negative things to say about me. I had never met the woman, but she knew the ex-Filipina that I had dated here locally before. And maybe you can share a little bit about kind of that interaction and kind of how that made you feel and why you ended up kind of cutting things off with her.
So that time, Miss Shari and I are not driving yet. We don't have a driver license yet. So she's kind of our a driver person, wherever we go. And she's really willing to show us Lynchburg, go to the mall, go to whatever places that we've never been to, because we're both new. Shy new also here in Lynchburg, so we're both are new. And so we started hanging out, and I guess maybe a month, I'll say a month or 2 months. We've been friends for long time at least, And then she started we're having a deeper conversation, talking about Darryl and something like that. And then she talks about bad things about Darryl. I don't exactly remember what she said, but then I kind of want not to be with her anymore, kind of cut our friendship, because it's not good for me, and it's not also good for our relationship.
You found that she would say these negative things about me, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I've known Darryl a long time. I've never seen him do any of these things. But that you, even though you were like, I've never seen him exhibit any of these habits or traits that she's saying, that it was making you feel very negative towards me, and that you would come home and that you would be in a bad mood or feel negative towards me.
Yeah, I was like really every time we have this conversation that day, then every time Darryl goes home, I kind of like have like an upset feeling towards Darryl, and like I'm cold to Darryl. I don't want to be like, close to him, because I feel like, oh, like maybe disgusted or frustrated, or I don't know what I'm feeling that time. But like I came to realize that time that, they don't know Darryl. They're not living with Darryl. They only know him because of this, like his ex.
Yeah, but I think that really points out the fact, guys, that first of all, she needs to find a friend group, that she has to have other Filipinas that she can share food with, Filipino food, share their language. But also, they got to find someone who's supportive. And luckily, the friend group she has now is really a good friend group. They're very supportive, very constructive. And luckily, with Melanie, I think one of Melanie's best attributes is she really shows discernment, particularly for being such a young person. So when this other girl was, talking trash about me, after a little while, Melanie had enough discernment to go, wait a minute. I've never seen any of these attributes that this woman's talking about. She's never even met my husband except the one time at this party. And she had enough discernment to say, I'm going to step away from this. I'm not going to partake in this. And so they really did. They kind of stepped away. And she shared all that with me, that, what she was saying, and that it was negative. But, hopefully your Filipino that you bring here has discernment, because I certainly learned in my first marriage. I went through the same thing where my wife at the time, we had a really great constructive friend group at our church. Well, she kind of completely changed her friend group and started hanging out with this other group of women that were almost all divorcees, and they were just very, kind of negative man bashers. You can do better than him, girl, type attitude. And I could sense the change in my wife during that time. It was very dramatic, and I was doing everything I could to try to nudge her back over towards our solid friend group, and obviously was unsuccessful in that. But her having a good solid friend group is important. Now, I don't share this about finding negative friend groups as a reason to not let her find a friend group. Like you can't be so controlling and so fearful that she's going to find some negative Nelly that you try to constrain her and not allow her to have a friend group, because I've certainly seen. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm just touching you.
Oh, I thought you were trying to pause me so you wanted to say something. I think it's vitally important that they have their friend group, and then you just have to have some faith in your Filipina that she has enough discernment that if she gets into a group that's very negative or just gossipers, because Filipinos are certainly famous for being gossipers, that she has enough discernment to figure out the good and the bad. And luckily, I think that's one of Melanie's best attributes.
Yeah, and Darryl is not really like a controlling person. Like, he just want me to like explore by myself and let me figure it out, things that, I need to figure it out. So he also wants me to be like independent, just not like him always be by my side. And so I kind of like learned that. But you know what, guys, like, not most, but some of the Filipina don't have this kind of, like, I guess, can I say personality, like have an instinct to like know that this group of friends are good, this group of friends are bad. Because I had that instinct that if I know you're a bad friends to me, I'm not gonna stay with you. I'm not gonna stick with you. I'm not gonna hang out with you, because I don't know. I think I just grow up with no drama in life, and I don't wanna have those negativity, because I believe that if you have those negative information in your mind, you're not gonna be happy. You're not always gonna have this grudge in your heart, like always upset, always just not a happy person. And I don't want to be like that, because I'm opposite to that one. I want to be like a happy. I want to have like always fun. So I'm really like now lucky to find this perfect group of friends, because like every time we hang out, we're not talking about our husbands. We're just talking about our life and, just fun stuff. It's not like, oh, yeah, like, not like that. So
Really opposite of that, where now if Melanie and I have some disagreement or argument and she goes to her friend group, they're much more supportive and trying to provide insight into, oh, well, maybe he feels that way because of this, and, that type of thing.
yeah, I remember when I and Darryl have disagreements, and then, I text this group, my nice group of friends that, hey, we have a disagreement. Can I come over? I want someone to talk to. So I came over to her house, and then she really did a good job in like advising me that, hey, you know what? Darryl is old. You're not supposed to be like acting like that to to Darryl, because he's a good person and blah blah blah. And so like, I came to realize like, you know what, I think she's right. So I went back to my house, and I kind of like, let's just end this argument. Then Darryl and I are already okay, So it's really nice to have the nice group of friends, because it makes your life like content and happy. But you just need to like pick like best friends, not like all this negative stuff, because that's gonna ruin your relationship with your American husband. So there's, I don't wanna say like most, but some of the Filipina here are like jealous of you. Like they don't want you to be successful in life. They don't want you to be successful here in America. So that's why they're having always this negative things to talk about, like your husband, because they want you to divorce with your husband. They want you to be miserable here in America. They want you to maybe, I don't know, but yeah, most of the Filipino are like that, are jealous, especially if they're living alone by themselves. And there's always like have this competition. Like if you have this kind of nice brand like Louis Vuitton, if there's one friend that have this, you need to have that. It's always been like that, and I'm not that kind of person. Like I'm out of that, league. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I've mentioned that in another morning musing that is yet to come out, of that pattern that I've noticed of Filipinas, that is certainly not all of them, but maybe a majority, where they get here and
majority for you?
I don't know if it's a majority, but it's a big portion.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 30% or 40%. That they get here and they get really competitive with one another, where, like you said, like if one gets a nice new handbag, then the other feels the need, it becomes a very materialistic frame of mind.
And I feel like you never ever be happy if you think all about like materials, because you need to have these materials in order for you to be happy. And I don't want material things. I just want to have like, this fun stuff like hanging out, like even we don't have this Gucci bag, because I'm not like that. I'm like a thrift store girl. Yeah. And then once in a blue moon, I just buy something like, Michael Kors, but it's not like expensive, like $1,000. It's maybe like, clearance.
She just bought a $50 bag.
A $51 Michael Kors.
That was a big deal to buy a $51 bag.
Yeah, and it's Christmas, so yeah. It's just like once in a year I have this, nice bag, but it's not like every month or every paycheck I need to have this one,
Well, and that is luckily something that we have in common, is we both kind of like the simple life. We recently downsized our home, and got rid of a lot of stuff from, when I was raising my kids. And honestly, her and I, it's like the fewer things we have, the happier we are. Like when we go to the Philippines, we literally use one pull behind and a backpack. And even this last trip, we were there for 2 months, and all we took was one pull behind and a backpack each. And we both were like, we still took too much.
I feel like we did not like even wear some of the stuff that I brought. Like especially me, I have a lot of like clothes in my luggage, but some of them I didn't even touch.
Yeah. So in fact, when we were starting up this channel, I was trying to get the name A Simple Life, or something around a simple life, as really what I wanted the channel name to be initially. In fact, I think maybe still in the description it mentioned something about simple life. because that was, a lot of what her and I's goal is just to live a simple, happy life. And materialism is not big to me, and I don't think it's big to her.
Yeah.
And, luckily she's found a really good friend group. It's made a big difference in her level of contentment. And I wish I could give you guys advice on specifically how to find a Filipina friend group in your local area. Obviously, we got a little lucky. Like I said, I met this one Filipina at a restaurant, and then, my sister-in-law happened to know a Filipina. Hopefully someone in your larger friend group is going to know some Filipino. All you got to do is find one. Because if you find one, they'll get them funneled into the bigger group, even if that person is not the person that becomes their ultimate friend. Even if you find someone at Walmart and you see, I think that lady might be Filipina, go up and introduce yourself and try to find a way, whether it's through Facebook groups or in some way, because it is vital that she has a friend group of Filipinas that she can spend time with one-on-one time. And the upside to that is it allows you as a guy to have your time to go do something you want to go do with your buddies, or if you want to, I like to play poker, so if she's with her girls, I'll go play poker.
Yeah.
It's vitally important.
You guys just let your Filipino figure it out by themselves. Like, let them explore, but don't be controlling, because I don't think that will be healthy for your relationship. So yeah.
Yeah, you have to have some faith.
Yeah, some faith. I think both Darryl, him and I have this, trust to each other that, we're not gonna do this stuff. We've been like, yeah. And he can track me, where am I? And, it's not like about hiding something or something like that. So.
Yeah, we can track each other, and it's not that either is just trying to be nosy. It's particularly when she got here, it was more of a safety thing. And actually, I'm really glad we had it, because
when I had my accident,
she had an accident. I'll tell that story really quick.
Yeah, tell that to them.
I was in getting some work done on my car. I was having the tires changed. I was getting new tires on my car. My car was up on the lift, and she calls me. And we're talking. No, you weren't talking. No, we were just talking.
I see.
So she calls me, and we're talking. And she told me she was heading to the supermarket. I think she was asking me what I needed at the supermarket. And then all of a sudden, I hear this crash, and then I hear her crying and whining. And of course, I'm trying to. I don't remember. Dropped. You didn't have your phone then. It was in a holder.
Yeah, it was in the holder because I still have this old car. Old car that don't have a screen when you go somewhere. So my phone is in my phone holder, and I was trying to grab it because I can't hear Darryl because the Bluetooth is not working. There's no anymore like a speaker coming now. So I was trying to grab my phone, and then as soon as I grab it, I didn't know that there's a ditch in my side. So I kind of like turned a little bit, and I don't have the time to do it because it's already ditched. So I end up like.
So anyhow, she's crying and yelling, and she's like, come here, And of course, I can't get her to tell me anything.
She told me, where are you? I don't even know the place. So I'm going to tell you.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You knew where you were, but, you wouldn't know how to describe where you were.
Yeah.
And so luckily, because we did have the trackers, I was able to, of course, I called 911. I found out where she was. I called 911, and I reported it and told them where she was. I think someone else had reported it before I had.
Yeah, there's a guy that kind of watched me.
Yeah. But because of that, at least I knew where she was. And so I was able to drive there, and I had to get them to take my car down. Luckily, the tires were, they hadn't changed, they hadn't started taking them off yet. And so they brought it back down, and then and I drove and went and got her, and then I don't even remember why we got in that whole discussion, but
the location is because of
because of the location. Yeah. So luckily
it's not about controlling things. It's about for emergency purposes only. Just like me having an accident, so it's easier for Darryl to track me where am I, because I'm not familiar with this. I know the place, but when you have that accident, you can even think of that place, because all you want is like needing help to someone. Like, I want to get out of this car. I want, things like that. You're not gonna say like, oh, I'm here, what is this? Like, you're still gonna have like to look, I remember when I get an accident, like I don't want to drive, and then Darryl told me, no, you can't live your life like that. You need to drive. So.
Yeah, I mean, her first impulse was a fear, and like, oh, I'm never going to drive again. I was like, no.
So Darryl is.
You can't live your life in fear. And so it took a little while, but we got her back into driving little by little. And
he always motivate me. He's not like a controlling person.
Well, and unfortunately, because she has a friend that still doesn't drive to this day because she had an accident years and years ago, and it scared her so much she's never driven again, right? And I was like, baby, you can't live your life like that. You're going to have to overcome this. You're going to have to learn to drive again. And if anything, having that accident made you a better driver, made you safe. I will say, guys, let's talk about the whole teaching you to drive thing. Oh my gosh. So I have 3 boys. I taught all 3 of my boys how to drive, okay? So I thought, no problem, I will teach Melanie how to drive. That was one of the worst decisions I ever made.
He knows that I did not drive the whole life I have, like for, I don't know.
It was so scary teaching her to drive. She was so bad, and she just wasn't seeming to pick up. And it was creating a lot of tension in our relationship because I would get upset, and then I might yell because she needed to brake, and then of course then it makes her defensive, and so we tried. I don't know how many times we went out. We really, really tried, and I kept trying to. All right, Dad, you got to be more patient. You got to be more patient. But she would scare me to death, and eventually we decided. I do think, with my boys, it obviously was different. They had watched other people drive their whole life before they started driving, so at least you have that common base of knowledge of watching other people drive your whole life. So obviously she got here, no one in her family knew how to drive. They had motorcycles, they didn't have cars. And did you ever even drive the motorcycles? No. So she'd never even driven the motorcycles.
I know how to do bicycle because I bike a lot.
Oh, well, bicycles.
I know, but that's it.
So obviously she got here, she'd never done any of that. And luckily she was brave enough to try, but eventually I had to just go get her a teacher. And it helped her, and it helped, maybe saved our relationship. And I remember the first time she went out with that guy, I was like, I said,
good luck.
Good luck, dude.
Well, you know what? The guy comment about my driving, and he said, yeah, you did good.
He was lying.
Because he's so calm. He's not speaking to me. He's not even like bothering me. He just say, okay, turn left, turn. It's like always like, and it makes me nervous though when the more that he like yelled at me, I make more nervous and make the driving crazy.
I think it was negative energy feeding on negative energy.
And we both get home like upset each other.
Yeah. So I would advise, she needs to drive, but hire a trainer. But the whole point of even bringing that up was that after her accident, she's actually become a very good driver. But I will say even well after she had her license, I normally am the one driving when we're together, but there was a couple times, even after she had her license, that we would drive and she drove, and she still scared me to death. I was like, oh my gosh. But after your accident, like now she'll drive occasionally and you do great. I don't have any problem. But it took a long time for me to get comfortable with her driving.